I understand what Calipari is saying to an extent at the end of the game. And I don't know if this was the comment you were going to talk about, that Cal wanted to ride it out with him. And I guess, like, I understand that if Daimion Collins is in the game and Arkansas gets a couple layups, that people are like, well, how are you going to keep Oscar Tshiebwe on the bench? He's the returning National Player of the Year. But at the same time, like, I don't know, do you think that Kentucky fans would hold it against after what we saw from Collins if he said, hey, I'm going to ride out these next 5 minutes of the game with Daimion and see, I saw in the first half when I was just watching it, he adjusted a couple shots as well, which would have been pretty helpful considering all the layups Arkansas was getting.
And that's that's a big concern of mine as well, because John Calipari opened his press conference talking about how much his team struggled defending inside and rim, how much rim protection was such an issue to start the game, and how it kind of set the tone throughout the game. And then 2 questions later brings up the Oscar Tshiebwe, Damion Collins dynamic, where Damion, as you said, he didn't have 8 blocks, or, it wasn't like he had the superstar block performance, but he was altering shots, and his presence as a 6'10", 46-inch vertical with a 7'5", 7'6" wingspan, that is a threat. That's somebody that teams are afraid to shoot over, because they know that he'll send your shot into the stands. And that Cason Wallace is a guy who has emerged as one of the best shot blocking guards in college basketball, stuff. So it's just that fear factor inside. Teams are not afraid of Oscar Tshiebwe right now, especially as a rim presence, as a interior defender. They do not trust him. They do not fear him. And it goes back to that quote. You as a coach, you go with what got you there. And it was a bigger picture thing for Oscar than just this game. It was like, let's get him going just to get him right. Steven, since when is John Calipari the one to let one player hold you hostage?
I can't imagine, if he believed that Collins could help them win that game, that he wouldn't have played him. I can't believe that. Calipari knows basketball, right? I mean, he does. You don't have the success that you have if you don't understand production. Who's capable of doing what? And Collins was capable of making them adjust their shots. And Oscar wasn't. Like you said, they're not fearing that Oscar's coming behind them to block their shot when they go up for a layup. There were times when Willie Cauley-Stein and Anthony Davis didn't touch the ball, but made them miss. And sometimes they weren't even really in the paint. It was just, like you said, that fear that I got to get this off quick because, it's going to get swatted. Cal knows that. So Drew said it in the rapid reaction last night. He's like, I'm an idiot. But what I would say is I wish that we could get more than 4 questions. And I wish that I really wish that there could be an explanation other than what that quote was. That was maybe an honest answer, but it was way too brief. Like, this was not a game you could afford to lose. So bigger picture, I mean, you want to make the NCAA tournament, right? What good is it if you get Oscar going, but you missed out on the tournament? So I feel like fans deserve a little bit more of an explanation. We saw Collins play well in the Ole Miss game and then get 0 minutes. We saw Reeves make 6 out of 7 and then only get 19 minutes because he got beat on 2 backdoors. And they won that game. But then, like you said, you're seeing guys get going, and then that chance ends, and it's just like, can we get an explanation? Like, what is the reason?
And considering what Damion has gone through, considering the work that has been put in to get him in this position, like, this is what we've been waiting for with Damion Collins. This is a guy that averaged 50 points a game, 40 rebounds, and 25 blocks a game in high school because he played against 5'8" kids that could barely jump. And he's a freak of nature physical talent, and he had all of the physical tools that you cannot teach, but he just didn't have the physicality. He didn't have the diet and the strength training and all of those things that you need to kind of turn potential into production. And we're just now starting to see that. And we just saw, like you said, he puts together that strong first half against Ole Miss, and you kind of starting to see him break through just a little bit. It's not like he went crazy, 25 points and 14 rebounds or whatever. Like, it's just slow little signs of progress. And Cal says after the game, I need to, give Oscar Tshiebwe less minutes, fewer minutes for Oscar, and more minutes for Daimion Collins. And then the next opportunity that you have to show that, and Daimion does his part in the first half, and then you sit him the entire second half and go back to the quote of basically indirectly, I'm letting this player hold me hostage and held this program hostage because he got us here to this point. So we might as well just keep trying to, force feed him and let that figure out. It is very concerning that we're still dealing with this, that it is February 8th right now with 8 regular season games to go, 7 at this point. And you're still having lineup concerns. You're still having, usage and role and things like that. Those concerns, that doesn't give you a whole lot of confidence that this stuff is going to get fixed when it needs to get fixed.